G'day, how you doing? Adam here from Poseidon Racing with another video. This time I want to talk about a strategy for investing in brand new NFT games, or in fact any NFT project that is brand new, or you could almost use this for NFT investing in general potentially. But what I want to make very, very clear is this is not financial advice. Do not use what I say as your sole investment strategy for investing your money. Who knows, maybe I have absolutely zero idea of what I'm talking about, but I will give you a little bit of history on what I like to do or how I like to strategize when I'm investing in NFTs, because they can be really, really risky. They can generate and sort of go up in value pretty dramatically as well, but they can also go down to zero really, really quickly, okay? And I've had that happen with one of the projects that I invested in, where the community is now coming together to try and rebuild it, but it did basically, we bought the NFTs and then the developers just took all the money and out the back door drinking cocktails at the Bahamas or something without actually doing anything on the game. So basically, to keep yourself a little bit safer, again, not financial advice, but to keep yourself a little bit safer with these new NFT projects, a little bit of a strategy. Okay, so what I like to do, let's just say I'm going to invest $100 total in an NFT project. Now that's not a great amount. Let's make it 1,000. Let's say we're investing $1,000 in a brand new NFT project. Well, what I don't do is I don't just find the project and just blindly jump in and invest my entire $1,000. No, absolutely not. I don't think that's a very good strategy, to be honest. What I do is I find the Discord, I find the website, I look for the white paper, I do all that research, and I kind of have a think about, is this a game? Because I mainly invest and enjoy NFT games, particularly the sports games. Is this a game that I would like to play? Is this a game that I find exciting? And if that's like sort of the first checkbox, if that's a yes, well, okay, well, that's great. And that could be something that I would like to invest in. Then I have a look at the Discord. I try and get a little bit of information about the team behind it. Have they done similar projects before? Have they been successful before? Is it a little bit of a slap bang together, sort of, half-assed project? Or is it all professionally put together? And, by the look of the website, sometimes you can see, have they used professional web designers, or have they just slapped it up together using, some sort of slap bang method? Who knows? But, you get a bit of a feel for that, how the project's coming together. But that's not to say that I don't invest in those projects. But, if I feel like, oh, it's a bit risky, but still I like the concept, I still might put a little bit of money into that. But let's say that my budget for any new NFT project, as I said, was $1,000. Well, what I might do something like in the very beginning, like if I managed to get a hold of the very first drop, the very, very first drop, I might try and spend, say, just 10 or 15% or maybe 20% of that budget at the first drop, if I can get in at that first drop. I tend not to, although sometimes you can maybe try and get in and get out really quick, but that can be quite risky as well. I've seen projects where you get in really early and think, oh, I'll buy up more than my share, more than my budget. I'll spend all my $1,000 budget on this particular NFT. And then what I'm going to do is I'll get out and I'll sell half of the project, half of those NFTs that I bought for 2 or 3 times the money on OpenSea as soon as this project sells out, and I'll cover my costs. But that sometimes works if the project sort of blows up early, but often you're left sort of holding the bag, sort of thinking, well, no one wants these. And in actual fact, I've had projects where I've bought early on drop day and it's sold out really quick. And then when we get to OpenSea, I might have paid, let's say, we'll just use the $1,000 figure. I might have paid $1,000, but now no one, the price on OpenSea is only $500. So I can't offload and cover my costs, and I'm sort of stuck holding the bags, fully invested in the project at a price where I can't get back out. So you need to be careful with that, trying to get in and get out and flip sort of flip those as well. So, I mean, if that's what you want to do, then by all means develop your own strategy. But I tend to just drip feed in a little bit. So obviously at the first drop, a lot of these projects are just ideas. They're just ideas with a few illustrations and graphics and a white paper that sort of outlines the roadmap and what the game might look like, but they're not developed yet. Usually the first round of selling NFTs is the fundraising for the development stage, okay? They sell these NFTs and then they go to the development stage and then they build the game and hopefully all things go well and within 3 months, 2 months, 6 months, whatever, you've got a usable game and you can start playing and hopefully at that stage your NFT goes up. So if you use a little bit of a more conservative strategy, yeah, you might not get that big boom at the start, but a little bit more conservative, you can kind of invest, you know, somewhere between 10 or 20% of my budget is what I like to do. Again, not financial advice, form your own strategy, but I like to invest somewhere about 10 to 20%, so 1/10 to 1/5 of my budget. And then as the risk factors start coming off, so for example, if I invest, let's say I invest 10% at the very first drop, I'm lucky enough to get to the first drop, yes, 10%, I managed to get roughly 10, 15% in at that level. And then I might get to the second drop and I think things are going well, the community's building nicely, the Discord's looking good, the team are filling me with confidence. The next drop I might spend another 10%, okay? And then I might hold it there for a while, and then when the game launches, if the game is really interesting and well thought out and looks like it's going to have some longevity, then I'll base whether I invest a little bit more based on how good that game is. Okay, is this game going to hold my attention for 3 months, 12 months, couple of years? Or is it sort of the kind of game that, you know, one of those, you know, fairly cheap made mobile phone games that's like, oh, it's sort of good fun to play in the ad breaks while you're watching TV, but it's not going to hold my attention for more than 2 or 3 days and then I'm going to go and find another game. All right, is it that kind of game or is it a little bit more intriguing and going to hold my attention? So once I get to there, if the game is excellent, then I might put in another 20 or 30%. So we're up at 50% of our budget. And then if it starts looking like blowing up, then I might jump in and invest, you know, another 20% and just leave myself a little bit on the side in case an opportunity, you know, a really important game piece sort of pops up and it comes up cheap, leave myself a little bit of money there as well. So by doing that, what you can do is, in the early days of these projects, it is full risk on. There's a lot of risk with these early projects that, who knows, something dodgy happens and the developers run off with all the dollars, or the game just fails because it doesn't really have the appeal that you thought it did. So you can sort of tier the amount of money of your budget or the percentage of your budget that you put in based on the risk of the game failing or based on the potential percentage of the game succeeding, I suppose, as those risk factors come off. So, you know, you see the white paper, you like it, you might decide to invest that 10 or 20% at the first drop. If that's going well, the community's building and maybe the first drop sold out within hours, a couple of hours, or even a couple of minutes. Then maybe you buy a little bit at the second drop. Maybe at the second drop you can buy that little bit and maybe sell a bit off to cover your costs. And then, as I said, as that game launches, and you can really assess then if you know, is this a good game that I'd like to play? Is it intriguing? Is it fun? Can I make a few dollars from it? Then you can maybe invest a little bit more. Now keep in mind, obviously, if you get to that gaming level, as the risk comes off, the prices are normally starting to go up as well. So you've got to sort of judge that as well based on, you know, you could put a little bit more money in the early stages if you really like a game, so that you've got a little bit more skin in the game for when you get to that next level. But as I said, if you go and dump all 100% of your budget right at the beginning, you're opening yourself up to some pretty extreme risk and some extreme payouts if it comes off, but you've got to weigh that up. You don't want to wreck yourself and completely remove yourself from the entire space because you blew your entire budget on this one project and it went belly up. And then you might be a bit burnt and you don't find other opportunities because you sort of turn your back. So keep it safe. keep it to the money that you can afford to lose at this point. Well, any stage when you're investing in these high risk things that are very, very new. Keep in mind that I think that the majority of these projects, look, they're not going to last 2 years or 3 years and have the longevity, I don't think. The majority. But there will be one or two that just goes really, really well. And if you're following along, and that's one of the reasons why I like to have that 10 or 20% skin in the game early. And I'm not saying my entire NFT budget, 10 or 20%. I'm just saying that, you know, I might have 1,000 put aside for that game, another 1,000 put aside for that game, another 1,000 put aside for that game. You know, so split your entire budget up into, you know, however many games that you wish to sort of get into. Let's say 5 games or maybe 10 games. Any more than that is probably too many to keep an eye on, but maybe 5. So if your total budget might have been 5,000, split it into 5 1,000s, and then split that budget again based on the risk factor of that particular project. Because these very, very early games, yes, high reward factor, fingers crossed, but high risk factor of just crashing and burning. And if you've invested that entire chunk, it doesn't give you the opportunity to keep nibbling away as the risk comes off. That's my strategy, not financial advice. Thanks again for watching along. If you enjoy the content, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. We are Poseidon Racing, everything NFT sports games. If that's what you're into, you'll love our content. Thanks again. Bye for now.